The winner of the World Boxing Super Series Season 2, 3 times champion, is the former World Boxing Council and the former World Boxing Organization Cruiserweight Champion and the current International Boxing Federation Cruiserweight Champion, the best cruiserweight boxer in the world, 6'1", tall, 200 pounds, from Riga, Latvia, Mairis Briedis. Mairis Briedis was born in 1985 in Riga, Soviet Socialist Republic of Latvia, now the capital of Latvia, where he also grew up and studied. It was in the neighborhood of Jubla, where he first visited a boxing gym at the age of 14. Briedis learned so much boxing as kickboxing. In fact, he was very prominent in his country in this last one too. He became a national champion at the age of 16. At the age of 22, he joined the state police at the Riga regional office. He became European kickboxing champion in 2008 by the organization WAKO. In total, Briedis have 9 kickboxing championship titles in Latvia and won 3rd place in World Championship on 2 occasions. In total, Briedis has more than 70 fights in this sport. But in boxing, he was not left behind. In that same year, Briedis became national champion at cruiserweight. Working on studying, in 2009 he again won the National Amateur Cruiserweight Championship. 2009 was the year that Briedis decided to become a professional boxer at the age of 24. At that time, he also went to work for the state police, during 2 professional fights between 2009 and 2020. In 2010, he won an amateur style tournament, the Mairis Briedi in Cyprus. Briedis was given unpaid permission by the police so he could continue training boxing. In 2011, he won the National Amateur Championship again, and that same year he made 2 more professional fights. In December of that year, he made 2 fights in Croatia, which didn't enter his professional resume due to the amateur style of this. Briedis lost the second one versus Croatian Ivica Bakurin. A professional fight in March 2012, and he was preparing himself for the biggest challenge of his career as a boxer. It was in June. The experienced Hungarian, ex-Olympian and former contender to Minor Championship, Joseph Nagy. The fight took place in Jurmala, Latvia, and resulted in a victory by technical knockout in the round 2 for Briedis. At that time, Briedis was still fighting 6 rounds. In October of that 2012, he made another fight in his country, and in December he won again the biggest, better boxing tournament held in Riga. This year, he also graduated from the Latvian Academy of Sports and Pedagogy. He has two specialties, a sport teacher and a senior boxing coach. Briedis revealed in an interview, there is no such financial opportunity to train in a professional mode and take a break from your main job. His trainer at the moment, Elvis Mikhailenko, said about the British situation as a boxer. If we talk about more than 2 hours things, then one of the main goals is to regain the popularity of boxing in Latvia. The situation is sad at the moment. Even so, it's difficult to find a suitable sparring partner here. 2013 was a very productive year for the Latvian. At the beginning of the year, he faced the experienced and former contender for the world heavyweight title, Danny Williams. This fight was held at heavyweight class. Williams was coming off 5 consecutive defeats and he would lose this one also by technical knockout. The fight didn't have the approval of any recognized organization. Williams said about the fight that for him was only an exhibition and that he dropped it to the canvas because they had agreed to do so before. That 2013, he also made 2 more fights in June. This fight marked his debut in the United States. July in Greece, both at heavyweight, standing a serious contender for an international title, so that in November his name will be written down in history when he will be disputing the vacant World Cruiserweight title by the International Boxing Association. The fight took place in Olympic Hall, Liepāja, Latvia, and culminated when his opponent, the Czech Lubos Suda, left the contest at the end of the 5th round. Briedis thus became the first champion in any category in the history of Latvia at the age of 28. He would fight again until July 2014 in his country, a victory by technical knockout, winning the vacant Baltic World Boxing Council Cruiserweight title. He will travel to Germany in September for a 6th-round fight where the recent title obtained wouldn't be at stake. Briedis will win by knockout in the 1st round. Returned to his country, he will prepare to defend his world belt for the first time against the Iron Chin, Ismail Abdul, who only had one fight lost by knockout. Not even Murat Gassiev has been able to knock him out, and Briedis wouldn't do it too. It will be the first fight that lasted up the 12 rounds for the Latvian. In this 2014, he was promoted to inspector in the state police. 2015. The following will be the two 6-round fights in Germany. He will win both by knockout. Briedis was now 16-0 with 13 KOs and will be risking moving up to the heavyweights to face Chad, a young German prospect, former contender for the title of the heavyweight version WBC, held by Vitaly Klitschko. The fight took place in Russia, a 9-round match that Briedis won by knockout in 5 rounds. The next, another win by knockout in 2 or 6 rounds that year. in Germany. At that year, he signed a contract with the promoter company Main Event, but he stated that he wouldn't give up his job as a police officer in an interview for the local media. 2016, and time to dispute another title, this time the Intercontinental Cruiserweight title by the International Boxing Federation. The opponent, Danny Benter, a win by TKO in 2 rounds. This fight will mark the end of the South African career. In May of that year, he will face the Nigerian hard puncher Judodola, who came from knocking out the great Russian prospect Dmitry Kudryashov. Briedis will win the Cruiserweight Silver title of the WBC and become the official challenger to the world title. If you want to see an exciting fight, I recommend the one he did in October of that year against the British contender Simon Bagili, which took place in the British House. Briedis won by TKO in the third. There was no title at stake in this fight. By that time, he was seen as an international representative for the Latvian people. He said in an interview for a local magazine, "Latvians are a strong nation and we can overthrow mountains." Mairis Briedi will be hired as a head of security of a manufacturing company of medications. In 2017, at the age of 32, he finally got the opportunity for an absolute title. Briedis was considered at that time as number 1 for the WBC. His record 21-0 with 18 wins by knockout. But the task was not easy. On the other side, the German Marco Huth, who had already been in the ring with the Russian gold medalist Alexander Povetkin and came from 2 victories. The fight lasted the 12th, an unanimous decision. The cards were 116, 111, 117, 110, and 118, 109. And Briedis was now an absolute WBC Cruiserweight champion, and earned the respect of the fans as well as a unique opportunity. Briedi decided not to pay the commission to the International Boxing Federation for the title that Huth held, so that the belt was vacated. That opportunity, I told you, was the invitation to compete with the ranked contenders of the other organizations. 8 men were the contenders to win the so-called Elite Trophy in Session 1 of the World Boxing Super Series. The prize was $50 million distributed among them. Gradarchik, Gaziet, Dorticos, Kudryashov, Huth, Usyk, Perez, and of course Briedis, all of them the best in the world in the category. The World Boxing Organization champion Usyk, the IBF champion Gaziet, and the WBC champion were in the tournament. Only the WBA belt was vacant and will be disputed in the quarterfinals. Briedis brought to Latvia the great sporting events when in September of that year, in the quarterfinals, he will face Cuban Mike Perez in the Latvian capital, where he will be defending his title, and he did it successfully in a competitive fight that went to the 12th round. That's how Briedis advanced to the semifinals of the tournament. That year, he left his job to focus on boxing, but continues to help the company, this time as a consultant.
Unconfined joy abounds up there in the boxing ring. Here at the Riga Arena in Latvia, Mairis Briedis, a unanimous point decision winner over Mairis to successfully defend his WBC Cruiserweight World title.
In 2018, Briedis has consolidated his name as a recognized brand in his country, and now with the momentum that gave him his last victory, Riga will be chosen again as the venue for the semi-final. The rival Usyk came from knocking out Briedis' former opponent Cook. Usyk's record was 30-0, 11 KOs, champion versus champion, and at that time it was not clear who was the best cruiser in the world, but certainly those two had supporters among the public. The fight was competitive, and it was the first time that a boxer could be seen exerting pressure and forcing Briedis to retreat. It must be said that Briedis had the most powerful blows, but the Sid showed better boxing technique and connecting more blows. Briedis, for his part, managed to connect with a consistent jab through the fight and an uppercut that, although he didn't manage to put Usyk in back condition. The cards 114-114 and the judges 115-113 for Usyk, snatching the green belt. From one thing that's nice about Briedis is that he is a boxer who gives you the opportunity to see him in action several times a year. And that year it wasn't the section, it was part of the card where the final of the World Boxing Super Series will be disputed in July, facing the French Brandon Deslauriers, a fight who won by unanimous decision in 10 rounds. Briedis returned to the ring in November for a second chance to win the Elite Trophy in Season 2 of the World Boxing Super Series against German Noel Gebor to dispute the Diamond Cruiserweight title of the WBC. The belt had never been granted to anyone in Cruiserweight. Briedis won a 12-round unanimous decision.
Cruiserweight tournament, Mairis Briedis.
In 2019, Briedis will return to contest for a WBO Absolute title in June, in the semi-final of the WBSS against the Polish Glowacki, who has just defeated the Russian Maxim Blasov. In the quarterfinals, the victory was controversial, with less than 1 minute after finishing the second round, Glowacki connecting Briedis in the back of the head, and he responded with an elbow to the shin. The referee decided to take a point from Briedis. A few seconds after the end of the round, Briedis hit a powerful right hand that sent Glowacki to the canvas. The fight had got to rest when Glowacki managed to stand up. Almost at the end of the round, the referee let the action continue a few more seconds beyond the bell, and Glowacki was again knocked down, and the referee took it for granted, thus causing considerable damage to the Polish boxer, who was knocked out in the first seconds in the third round. Due to the controversy generated, the WBO ordered a direct rematch. Briedis refused because this could have caused him to miss the final of the tournament. Then the WBO decided to remove him from the title. Watkins said in an interview for the Polish media that Briedis won around $600,000 in the semi-final and that in the final he will win about $2 million, money that had could gone for him. He made clear that money is not everything to him, but it will be very helpful. He said he hoped to unify titles with him after the final of the World Boxing Super Series to pay bills. Briedis proposed to his wife after the fight. I told her we're already 10 years married. This time it will be counting with the church approval. That year also, Briedis left his job in the police to concentrate on the final of the World Boxing Super Series. His manager Raymond said of this, Mairis has always been associated Mairis as a police officer and only then as a boxer. He only wanted to see them the emblem of the police on his resume, and nobody ever asked him for it, and he did not benefit for it. The police uniform is an honor for him, so the decision was made after so much talking. The final of the World Boxing Super Series was postponed due to the war contingency, being postponed to September the 26th, 2020 in Munich against the Cuban IBF champion Junior Dorticos. 24 wins, 1 loss, 0 draws, and 22 KOs. The winner of this fight will be considered the best cruiserweight of the world. Briedis will win in a dominant fashion, giving a masterful class on how to battle a taller man with the jab. He's incredibly good at counter-punching too. The cards were split to 114, two of the judges had 111 for Briedis. Briedis thus became the winner of the World Boxing Super Series Season 2 and took the Elite Trophy to his home. Champion for the International Boxing Federation, the best cruiserweight in the world, 3 times champion of the world, one of the best boxers of the world in any category, and one of the best cruiserweight boxers in history. Briedis is a family man. He has 5 children.
Is the champion.